The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Once you stop learning, you start dying. Everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. If A is a success in life, then A equals X plus Y plus Z, work is X, Y is play, and Z is keeping your mouth shut. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. No amount of experimentation can ever prove me right. A single experiment can prove me wrong. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. The only source of knowledge is experience. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. There are two ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle. You can live as if everything is a miracle. The difference between genius and stupidity is that genius has its limits. Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. Nothing truly valuable arises from ambition or from a mere sense of duty. It stems rather from love and devotion towards men and towards objective things. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be. You asked me if I keep a notebook to record my great ideas. I've only ever had one. A happy man is too satisfied with the present to dwell too much on the future. Insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. The value of a man should be seen in what he gives and not in what he is able to receive. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. Logic will get you from A to B, but imagination will take you everywhere. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. There comes a time when the mind takes a higher place of knowledge, but can never prove how it got there. Human beings must have action, and they will make it if they cannot find it. Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. I think and think for months and years. 99 times, the conclusion is false. The 100th time I am right. Sometimes one pays most for the things one gets for nothing. Anger dwells only in the bosom of fools. I'd rather be an optimist and a fool than a pessimist and right. We cannot despair of humanity, since we ourselves are human beings. I am not only a pacifist, but a militant pacifist. I am willing to fight for peace. Nothing will end war unless the people themselves refuse to go to war. Don't listen to the person who has the answers, listen to the person who has the questions. A new type of thinking is essential if mankind is to survive and move toward higher levels. Information is not knowledge. The only source of knowledge is experience. I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. There comes a time when the mind takes a higher plane of knowledge but can never prove how it got there. The most valuable thing a teacher can impart to children is not knowledge and understanding per se, but a longing for knowledge and understanding, and an appreciation for intellectual values, whether they be artistic, scientific, or moral. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. Creativity is intelligence having fun. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. Any intelligent fool can make things bigger, more complex, and more violent. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. Wisdom is not a product of schooling, but of the lifelong attempt to acquire it. Man usually avoids attributing cleverness to somebody else, unless it is an enemy. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? Peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding. You cannot simultaneously prevent and prepare for war. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. If people are good only because they fear punishment and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. I believe in intuitions and inspirations. I sometimes feel that I am right. I do not know that I am. It would be possible to describe everything scientifically, but it would make no sense. It would be without meaning, as if you described a Beethoven symphony as a variation of wave pressure. The world is in greater peril from those who tolerate or encourage evil than from those who actually commit it. The years of anxious searching in the dark, with their intense longing, their alternations of confidence and exhaustion, and final emergence into the light, only those who have experienced it can understand that. The most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. You have to learn the rules of the game. And then you have to play better than anyone else. Sometimes one pays most for the things one gets for nothing. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. A calm and modest life brings more happiness than the pursuit of success combined with constant restlessness. The man who regards his own life and that of his fellow creatures as meaningless is not merely unfortunate, but almost disqualified for life. One lives one's life under constant tension until it is time to go for good. I have remained a simple fellow who asks nothing of the world, only my youth is gone, the enchanting youth that forever walks on air. Compassionate people are geniuses in the art of living, more necessary to the dignity, security, and joy of humanity than the discoverers of knowledge. I believe that a simple and unassuming manner of life is best for everyone, best both for the body and the mind. Human beings can attain a worthy and harmonious life only if they are able to rid themselves, within the limits of human nature, of striving to fulfill wishes of the material kind. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. Failure and deprivation are the best educators and purifiers. It is not so very important for a person to learn facts. For that, he does not really need college. He can learn them from books. He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. Schools may favor such freedom by encouraging independent thought. I do not much believe in education. Each man ought to be his own model, however frightful that may be. That is the way to learn the most, that when you are doing something with such enjoyment that you don't notice that the time passes. The aim of education must be the training of independently acting and thinking individuals who, however, can see in the service to the community their highest life achievement. Never regard your study as a duty, but as the enviable opportunity to learn the liberating beauty of the intellect for your own personal joy and for the profit of the community to which your later work will belong. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity. Once you can accept the universe as matter expanding into nothing that is something, wearing stripes with plaid comes easy. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. The whole of science is nothing more than a refinement of everyday thinking. Most of the fundamental ideas of science are essentially simple and may, as a rule, be expressed in a language comprehensible to everyone. I am not very satisfied with my theory of thermoelectricity. I never failed in mathematics. Before I was 15, I had mastered differential and integral calculus. Pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas. Equations are more important to me because politics is for the present, but an equation is something for eternity. God does not care about our mathematical difficulties. He integrates empirically. Imagination is the highest form of research.